Alrighty, welcome to Supernatural Signals, my haunted journal edition. If you're new here, this is my haunted journal. It's where I casually yap about what's going on in my life, especially anything supernatural I'm experiencing. I also share channel updates, everyday life with my boyfriend, and thoughts on things in the media like true crime, though the supernatural is usually or always somehow the main focus. On this channel, you'll find three types of content: this haunted journal series, short mini mysteries, and longer investigative deep dive videos. I do put the short mini mysteries over on my short tabs if you're interested. And I promise I'll be working more on those investigative videos as well as the mini mysteries this week. That is my goal. But I just had a thought this morning, and one of my friends kind of like helped me work through it. And it wasn't even like a problem that I thought was a problem, but I guess it was like a problem. um, so we're gonna usually what I like to do is like talk about entertainment stuff and things like that, but there's not much entertainment stuff because I just dropped a haunted journal yesterday. Usually I like to space these out like a week or half a week at least. But this just kind of came on my mind, and so I wanted to yap about it. And I do have some supernatural updates because I mentioned in my last video that I saw something on my camera, which I will discuss in this video. So those are the two things I'm going to talk about. What kind of came on my mind this morning, and this is more about like I don't even want to say spiritual journey, maybe a little bit of both, but just human journey, I guess. But I talked about previously about how the fact that like one of my mini mysteries was kind of dark, that I thought anyway, and I was not scared to post it, but I hesitated to post it because it was dark, right? Like it I mean, more dark natured, right? And I was kind of scared because I didn't want to like, and it for my videos it performed really well, so there you go. But I was scared to post it because I was like, I want my channel. I'm trying to figure out what my channel vibes are, right? I figured out the type of content I want to put on as far as like the shorts, the mini mysteries, and these longer videos, the haunted journal podcast type vibe. And then we have the more investigative videos, right? Which are like 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, depending on the vibe I feel like that day with the subject. But with these haunted journals, so going back to the mini mysteries, I, I thought it was a little too dark, and I was like, what do I want my quote unquote brand? Right? Like, I know it's stupid, but it's social media in 2026. I didn't say 2025. I was about to, but I did it. But we're in April, so hopefully I'm there yet. But I'm there already. But like 20, it's like in social media, no matter what it is in 2026, unless you have like a private Facebook or private Instagram or whatever the case may be, a lot of it at times, if you're making a podcast or whatever the heck this is, you do think about branding, right? It's not something I came in and thinking of like, I need this and that and this and this, but you think about like, what do your vibes want to be? What do you want to present, right? And so I had that on my mind, right? I didn't want people to feel like it's too much, right? Like it's too freaking much. And so I had that thought, and then my boyfriend kind of like went through it. He's like, first of all, he doesn't shy away from controversy at all. He says the world's controversy has a lot of controversy. The supernatural certainly does have a lot of controversies and dark sides and things to discuss and debate and understand and figure out and all that stuff. And he's like, there's nothing wrong with showing that side too, right? It doesn't have to be all flowers and roses and things. And then when I make these podcasts, sometimes I'll edit myself, sometimes I will re-listen to it. Sometimes I'm about to post it and I'm like, I'm going to come back to it later and maybe take something out. A lot of times I don't, but it's just that part of me where I'm like, people are going to find this and think this girl is bizarre and overthinks and is too dark, or like sees, doesn't just say a case as just case value. Like she always has to pick around at it. She always like has to, she has to talk about her past. She has to you know, there's always something, right? Like it's not just me coming here like talking about supernatural at face value, right? I dig into it and I want to continue digging into it, but every time I do that, I'll see other people that I follow on social media where I'm like, they have managers, they have these things, they have these, these whatever their, I guess, brand is, right? And I don't have a brand, obviously. And so that gets me like second guessing myself, like, because I love Loie. Everyone, like, if you've listened to any of these, like, Loie is one of the reasons I'm making content, right? Because I like the supernatural, like her and things like that. She has, though, she'll admit it. I'm sure she will. She's a smart businesswoman. That's why she's gotten so far. But she has a brand, but I still think we're getting authentically her. But her brand is talking about supernatural and reacting to things and, talking about dark stuff, but still making it, I guess, light. And sometimes when I look at my content, I'm like, is this light enough? That's like my first thought. Is this too dark? Is it light enough? Am I light enough? Am I, like talking about things that people don't want to hear on their drive to work or doing their makeup and things like that? And, but here's the thing, and I'll get into a minute kind of how I got into that conclusion. I talked to one of my friends, HG, who again I mentioned earlier, he's basically a second father, and uh, he basically had that epiphany. It was like 5 in the morning because Kitty woke up and decided she needed breakfast right then, and then I started having thoughts about the channel, and he's basically what I got to it is that, like, what makes me light up and what makes me happy and what is easy for me, which again I talked about this before, the universe likes you to go to things that are easy to you because that's what you're good at, is talking about these things, is in a way my light because that's what gives me my light, right? I'm an analytical person. Yes, I will admit sometimes I overthink things, and HG and Kermie and some other people in my life have like helped me be like, okay, like, you know, there's, I don't, the right word isn't boundaries, but balance, right? There's balance to everything where it's like, be yourself, but also be aware of your surroundings, be aware who you're talking to, be aware of society as a whole, right? Don't be dumb, right? Don't be like, come on here and be like, I think all, we should, I don't know, like something crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? But like, be aware of the world we're living in, basically what I'm saying, but also be you, right? And being me is talking about these things. Being me is explaining what I went through with the supernatural and how it was dark. And I think this is where the conversation happened. I almost didn't post my haunted journal from yesterday because I was like, is it like too like, oh, Savannah has trauma and I should just stick with her. Oh, I feel bad for her. I hope she does well at work and not get into all this stuff and just keep it like that. And I don't want to keep it like that. And I've done this before with my haunted journals where I'm like, is it not girly pop enough? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but then when I try and just do the girly pop vibes, I'm not satisfied, right? Because I'm not me, right? Like, when I was younger and I had friends, that sounds so sad. When I was younger and I actually had friends, but true. Like, when you're a kid at sleepovers, I didn't want to talk about boys. And that's just the truth. This isn't me being like, I'm so unique and blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to talk about boys. I wanted to talk about, do you believe in aliens? Do you believe in ghosts? What do you think about the universe? Like, if you lost a loved one, let's talk about that. Like, how that, those, I'm not good at talking about the fucking weather. Like, and that's when I get awkward, right? And that's when I'm like, yeah, that weather. Do you think the aliens control the weather? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't have anything else to give with that, right? And to be honest, I don't think most people like talking about the fucking weather. I think they either were programmed to it or they feel like it's a safe topic, or there's just nothing else to talk about, right? And that's the other thing why I've been trying to like get back into reading and video games and watching movies, because I will watch a movie with Kermie, or I'll read a book, or I will play video games, and I will play the video game for sometimes in my life 3 hours long, 4 hours long, in the evenings or whatever, nothing else to do. And I'll look up and I'll look at my social media, or I won't even look at my social media because I'll be thinking about the game. And then I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like, wait, blah, blah, blah did this? Like, that has no effect on my life, but I got this really cool storyline, you know what I'm saying, that I got to enjoy and not get smothered in with stuff that doesn't concern me really, unless it's obviously something like ice or whatever that should concern everyone. But y'all get my point. It's just because you absorb yourself in another reality, you're learning things on the creative side, and you're taking yourself out of stuff that, you know TikTok trends that I have no idea about, like the um things that like 3 or 4 years ago I would have like known about, and I'd be actually the person that people would ask me about, right? And now I'm like, what? Like, I was playing Jenny LeCoux, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I enjoy that more than that, right? Also, if you hear a cat purring, Kitty is literally sitting between me and the laptop right now. She just wants all the snuggies lately. She's my queen. Yes, she is. Also, totally off topic. I'm about to get back on topic, but I got highly recommend if you're a hot sleeper, because I am a hot sleeper, but I like to be a cold sleeper where I get to snuggle with Kermie and just be like, like I love that feeling where it's like, it was cold out there, but I'm under my bankies, like that type of feeling. And but again, hot sleeper. So I've been trying to find sheets that aren't hot. And so like a few weeks ago, I ordered bamboo sheets and they just came the other day. And they are the best investment I've ever had. Like, I am telling you, I understand times are hard, so it's like not everyone can like spend a certain amount on sheets or whatever, but you can find good deals out there. And if Christmas, birthdays, things like that, if there's like something you can't think you want and you're like a hot sleeper, I understand mattresses definitely affected, obviously, but if you can't afford that, or it's just not something, you're ready to change out your mattress or whatever, I probably had the best sleep of my life with these freaking um sheets. Like, my boyfriend recommended them because I'm a hot sleeper, and so I always thought getting like cotton sheets like were good, and that's usually just get like the ones from Target, which they're still great. They do their job or whatever, but like I'm not gonna lie, these the best sleep of my life. Well, y'all get what I'm saying. It was such a good sleep. And I didn't sleep that many hours because I went to bed late and then Kitty woke me up at like 5 a.m. But those hours in between were amazing. But yeah, so just highly recommend something to put on your wish list or get if you're able to. And literally made me feel so good because again, I'm a hot sleeper. I didn't sweat at all last night. It was so good. I said that because I feel like even Kitty appreciated them, because usually when I change the sheets, she'll like pout and like try and find a pillow to lay on. And when I changed the sheets this time to the bamboo sheets, she literally like sprawled out and like was like a queen and just enjoyed her life. And I think even Kitty appreciated them. She's like, "Oh, finally you got sheets worthy of Kitty." I'm like, whatever. So moving back to the the thing. And then obviously I don't have a lot of followers. And let's be real, most of my followers are just totally fine and super appreciated come through my mini shorts, right? They don't really listen. I don't have a lot of viewership on my haunted journals yet, which again is fine. But I have that thought process because there'll be times where I'm like, oh, I'll get followers and I'm worried they're going to watch these haunted journals, be like, this girl's talks too much, right? But at the same time, Kermie's like, okay, that's fine if they make that decision, but you're not building a brand for people to to you're already thinking about what they want versus what you want for your channel, right? And what you know, like, you're letting people that you making assumptions about control who you are as a person, right? And I'm like, true, right? And he's like, you're making this channel for you. Yeah, you want viewerships. Yeah, you want it to turn into something, But those people that eventually do become viewers, like consistent viewers, like will be there because of you unless you make a fake persona right off the bat, right? And I was like, that's true. I mean, yeah, it might take me longer to get that consistent viewership, especially on haunted journals or longer videos, et cetera, et cetera. But at least I won't have to be someone I'm not, right? To an extent, because again, it's a public platform for anyone, right? And that's for everyone on social media. Again, even if you just have a friends and family account, right? And so I don't know. Like and I guess I've been like I said, I just like I won't post something and then she's like, well, why haven't you posted the video you were talking about earlier? And I'm like, just because I'm overthinking it and I want to think. And he will literally be like, let's re-listen to it. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, did you say anything horrible? Did you clarify your thoughts? Did you do your best not to offend anyone? Like, yeah. And he's like, it's fine, post it. And I'm like, okay. And again, like I said, during my spiritual journey, I went through a lot of like changes in the sense of like kind of feeling like trying to fit in for the greater good, I guess, if that makes sense. Like trying to fit in into a mold to help the universe, to figure out more about the universe, to help others, and feel like I have to do this. But at the end of the day, I was made the way I was because that's who I am, right? And I know I'm a good person. I know I have a good heart. I know the stuff I've done for others, whether they've seen it or not. And I'm proud of myself. Like, I'm really proud of myself. Like, and, and I'm proud of myself that I'm still myself, right? I'm more aware. And when you're not aware of things, you add things to your life because you don't know about it, right? Like, you don't, if you don't know about, like, you're just going through life and then you figure that there's a whole other world or a different part or something, or if you join a job that you think is one thing and you come in there and you act a certain way and then you figure out, oh, but there's this part in this part of the job. Yeah, you add to who you are with that information, right? Because you're an understanding person. You want to help. You want to help yourself. You want to learn these new rules, but also add to it, but also protect your peace and also grow with yourself. And growing doesn't mean you're not yourself anymore, right? And so I say all that, and then Kermie said, he's like, and I don't really watch Joe Rogan because I don't really believe in his political beliefs, but I respect him as a podcaster, just of being successful in that area. He's like, do you think Joe Rogan gives a flying F? And I'm like, no. And he's like, do you think Joe Budden, like I've seen a few of his episodes, like gives a flying F? And I'm like, no. And he's like, think like a man. He's like, Trisha Paytas, she's made a lot of changes in her life, right? Like I said, she's mentioned being on her own spiritual journey, so you can tell she's seeing the greater picture of things and how we're all connected, but she's still herself. Like she's still on her podcast being her. And it's like and I'm already putting these expectations on, and I'm getting not a lot of views. They're appreciative views, but it's like I'm already overthinking it, right? And that's where I have to be like, no, you're just being yourself. And that's when I have to say, okay, this is what you're overthinking about, right? And if people don't like your views, they can either put it in the comments respectfully, right? We can have a grown conversation, or they can just not listen, right? And yeah, I don't want to talk about, like, I don't know. I want to talk about things that are important to me, that I'm good at talking about, and do it in a respectful manner where I don't offend people just to offend people, but also still being able to have those conversations, right? And like I said, Joe Rogan's alive, Joe Budden's alive, Trisha's alive. I don't really watch Call Her Daddy things, but Call Her Daddy podcast, but it's very successful, and I've seen clips of it. And she's not always black and white, right? And so I need to watch more podcasts is what I'm getting at, right? And so because I don't have a lot that I've been watching. So I need to get back into that. But like, sorry, Kitty's just like all up on me. Yeah, mama. But yeah, like that's just been on my thoughts. Like I just again kept thinking I was doing something wrong as far as like what I talk about and how I view certain cases, and I'm like, also, babe, I'm like, well, what if I'm wrong about things? And he's like, well, then you're wrong, you've been wrong before. And it's like true. Like, it's like, but you put it out there saying like you can be wrong, you're just discussing it, right? And and I think the safe track would be me just kind of talking about the supernatural on a surface level, but I don't want to do that. That's not my wheelhouse, right? And and when you start a project like this, you have visions for it, and I have time to do it. I know it, so I'm not in a rush. But like, I want people that want to talk about that stuff and debate, or maybe not even debate, but just like have a conversation where you're like, well, baby, but I think this, and like, I want those conversations. I don't want to just say, is that a cryptid? I think so. Well, I don't. Okay, that's it. Like, I want to go deeper in it. And again, see, I'm already worrying about, you know, offending things, but it's like that's what I want to do, and that is what I'm doing. And I don't know why I'm ashamed of it, right? And it's like, but that's what gives me light, that's what gives me happiness. And again, it doesn't always have to be dark. There's a lot of great things with the supernatural. It doesn't always have to be pessimistic, but I don't think I approach it pessimistic. I think I approach it with realism, right? And yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And I really want to start exploring the supernatural again, more on the not so much spiritual side, but the ghost entities. And I feel like I'm getting there with the stuff with the buddy and Kitty and I'm sorry, I meant the video camera footage that I've been discussing lately and the glitches I've been having. But yeah, I don't know. There's not much to it, and I don't really want to get into like how I got into that conclusion. It was a video game thing, but I'm telling you, video games can tell you a lot about the universe. But um, yeah, it was just something I had on my heart where it's like I felt like I was trying to fit in the mold of what I thought the universe wanted me to be. And then at the same time, I'm like, I'm not going to act the rest of my life. Like, this is who I am. So, you know, and I'm not going to do that on something that I want a platform for. Right. Um, but Kitty says, I agree. If I have to deal with her crazy ass, so do y'all. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. Um, I don't know. That's my thoughts. It was on my heart. I don't know when I'm going to post this because I got human stuff to do and I have to actually work on supernatural content for mini mysteries. But yeah, I just wanted to get that on my chest because it was in my head right now, and knowing me, I will forget about it. So, yeah, I don't know. So let's pivot into something more camera footage based. Okay, so I'm not going to post any camera footage, but I will. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another summation video just because a lot has been going on as far as supernatural goes. But so I'm going to make a summation video either early next week or at the end of this week. Because, like I said, I want to get some normal investigative videos out as well as mini mysteries. But I will kind of have like a conglomerate of everything that's happening with Buddy, so I can just have it as like a pinned video, and with Kitty, because the reason I'm bringing this up now is Kitty has been acting weird at night. Yesterday and the days before, she's been super restless. And before I got Buddy, she was acting weird on certain things, and she would like stare at walls. She would get scared at certain things. I think having Buddy here has made her less on guard in a way. It's almost like they share the instinctual burden. I know it sounds weird, but that's how I feel. But she has been like a little restless lately in the sense of always wanting to be near me as of late. like getting up late, like she'll cry kind of like in the middle of the night and kind of like stare at me and like stare at something else. I don't know. And then there's this also the sound that I've never heard before. It almost sounds like a door. Doesn't sound like, it sounds like one of those like minivan doors, but really loud when you like shut it in my room, I heard. But I only heard it when I had my headphones on. So I need to go investigate that because I had my headphones on looking for the freaking bird tweet. And then I heard that and I was like, what the heck is that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a summary video, add footage from previous things, just try and make it a, it might be like an hour long video, just everything I'm just experiencing since I moved to this area, and just have it as pin videos for people that are interested in my story, and then include this new stuff. So that will be coming out shortly. I think I'm just going to post this video as is, but Kitty has been acting kind of like her old self before I got Buddy, like just very aware. Like I've been looking at her footage at night. She's a cat, so she's up at night, but she's been super restless at night lately and super super clingy. At first I thought it was just because I left for a day, and sometimes when you're pets you leave for a day, even cats, they'll get like extra clingy because they missed you or whatever. But she's still like extra clingy. And she, now I think about it, she was clingy even before I left. So I think something's disturbing her because, again, she's walking around at night and stuff. She's fine during the day, like she'll come cuddle me, and then she just finished cuddling me. Now she's doing her own thing, but she just got up. But like, I don't know. I need to like also explore Kitty. So I will keep you posted. I'm gonna make that video this week. I'm gonna try and push out a lot of content this week, but in order to do that, I gotta stop yapping. So I hope everyone has a great Monday and rest of the week. Like I said, I'll probably do a mini mystery investigative video and then hit it off with a haunted journal update towards the end of the week or early next week. All right. So as always, thank you for listening, and as always, stay curious and stay tuned into the supernatural. Thanks for watching.